Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first session of day 3 of ALYFE Connect, our very first virtual event brought to you exclusively by ALYFE Group. We apologize for the slight delay. We had some technical difficulties, but we are nevertheless excited and ready and raring to go with the day's agenda. This morning, we are welcoming Jasmine Tuan, an environmental advocate and zero waste activist, who will be teaching us all about how to protect this earth that we live in more responsibly. As humans and residents of this earth, even for a short time, we know we all can do a lot more, we think, to protect this beautiful planet that we live in, but we might not always take as much responsibility as we should. So we are very much looking forward to Jasmine sharing with us her policy and her philosophy on a zero waste lifestyle. And we are also very, very happy to have with us a professional host this time. I'm sure you're sick of me talking by now. So we are delighted to welcome the very talented, the very beautiful Nadia Heng, a professional host and MC who will be guiding us through this session. So let's welcome them both without further ado this morning, Nadia and Jasmine. Ladies, over to you.
Hi, Jacob. Thank you so much. Hi,
Thank you.
Jasmine.
Hi. We made it.
We did. First of all, welcome guys if you're just joining us to ALYFE Connects, and today we are so excited, as Jacob just mentioned, to present to you zero waste advocate Jasmine Tuan.
Hi everyone. Happy to be here. I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share during our MCO and lockdown time. Super excited to be here.
Excited to have you. And you know, we're just gonna pretend we can hear everyone's applause. Everyone's applauding at home right now. First of all,
thank you for being here.
Good morning. You know, I'm really excited. This is you know, I'll tell you, like, the first of ALYFE Connects that I'm going to be hosting, and it's such a privilege to be in the presence of someone who is so extremely inspiring about a subject that personally I'm super passionate about myself as well. And to hear your story, I'm sure everyone else is equally as excited as I am too. So before we get into things, you know, I've been stalking you quite a bit on social media, Jasmine.
Great.
That's purely for research, but I stumbled across some pretty cool pictures, and I realized that you very recently just came back from Malaysia. So right now you're based in Singapore, right?
Yes, I'm back in Singapore right now.
You just came back from Malaysia, and from what I understand, you were essentially stranded in KL after MCO measures started, and stranded, I say, because really you were seeing this most idyllic slice of heaven in KL. And for those of you guys who don't know this place, it's called Sekeping Tenggiri, right? So tell me about that. How did you end up staying there, and what went on?
Thank God. First of all, really thank God. So I actually moved out of Malaysia in February, and I moved back to Singapore to base there. And then this whole lockdown happened when I visited KL in March, just for a fashion show, for a friend's fashion show. And then, yeah, and I'm like, shit, I have no place to stay. So I posted on Facebook. I'm like, oh, can anyone just like accept me or adopt me? And Seksan was really kind enough to say, hey, I have this place. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, no urgency to go home at all, because if I come back to Singapore, I have to do a 14-day quarantine at home in this square box. So I'm like, totally gonna stretch my social visa pass for as long as I can, and then I return home.
You know, I just thought it's so apt that you're stranded in Malaysia and then you're staying in one of the most greenest houses possible. Like, it is
so
nice. Yeah, so
yeah, it's like, I call it the peace haven. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, right? And also after that, I followed your journey on Instagram, and you basically got back to Singapore, and you still had to self-isolate in a facility.
Yeah,
right?
lucky me. So I decided to leave on the 10th of April. That is exactly about 29th day or 30th day to my social visit pass. And then on the 9th of April, our government in Singapore announced that everybody who returned from overseas, the Singaporeans and the residents, will have to go through this compulsory stay home notice in the hotel facilities. I'm like, wow, lucky me. So basically, I'm fed like 3 times a day. I couldn't step out of my hotel room at all. It's in a nice studio space. Yeah, and I have to just put up with it. I have to go through this luxury prison, I call that.
Well, I am so happy that you look very comfortable and happy back now in your own home, right?
Yes, finally, it's been a while.
I can imagine. So, first of all, before we delve into the nitty-gritty and rather insightful whole concept of zero waste living, for all of you out there, just for your information, Jasmine was not born with the whole concept of zero waste living. In fact, it is a very much fairly new, maybe three years in the making, right, process. But in fact, Jasmine, you're still attached. You're a creative brand consultant at Brand Mama, doing brand development. Am I right?
Yeah,
So tell me,
developing my own brand most likely.
Sorry,
developing my own brand mostly.
Your own brand. Well, you've been in fashion. You've been doing. You were in Urbanscapes at one point as well, doing PR, marketing, managing of events, right? So tell me a little bit about life before zero waste living. Who was Jasmine Tuan before? What you did as a profession, and what your general lifestyle was before you actually went into zero waste living.
I was a monster. I was a consuming monster. Overconsumption is my life. I shop, therefore I am. And I love shopping because when I was young, our parents are really strict and really frugal in spending. So when I started working and started making my own money, I buy every single thing that I want, and I see I must have them. So that's this kind of like power that I had, and whenever I can buy something and own it. So it has been so terrible because I have been shopping since day one, since the moment I started making my own money. So you can imagine the amount of stuff that I accumulated. So I was a shopaholic, a hoarder, a collector, and I'm very good at organizing. So basically, I had so much stuff, I had to turn one of my bedroom into a walk-in wardrobe.
Wow. So tell me a bit more about what you did as well for work before this. That also drove you. Like, was it a part of the lifestyle that you lived? Was there a lot of peer pressure as well? Besides the fact that, of course, it's like I buy things and therefore I am. But like, were there a lot of external factors as well that built that into you?
Yeah, I think it does play a fact. I used to work for Zouk, which is the most happening club in Singapore, for almost a decade. I used to also started a fashion label with two of my good friends called Frufru and Tiger Lily. And I also have a fashion retail boutique called Black Market, where we house the best of Asia designers, whether it's design, fashion, or art. So yeah, I think your environment shapes you, right? So even though I think I'm a normal, simple person, you kind of always try to keep up with the trend too, and you always try to wear something different. And plus I love shopping, so it helps. It doesn't help, it helps. And I always buy just in case I have this event to go to. I will always make sure I have new clothes on standby to wear. You can never caught me wearing the same dress twice, because that was my mantra. I don't know where I get that from. Really? so every time I walk into my walk-in wardrobe, I'll be like, I have nothing to wear because I've worn them before, which is a big problem.
You really never wore the same thing twice if you were going out.
Okay, try not to, but you won't catch me. You won't catch me wearing the same dress twice. Maybe people don't even give a shit.
I think it's a real pressure, because especially with social media these days, a lot of people have. I mean, I don't know whether it's still as much of a trend as it was when it first started, but the whole hashtag OOTD, outfit of the day, and it's like, well, if that's what I'm going to be posting on social media, then I constantly have to be wearing, like you said, a new outfit every day. I can't be posting the same, outfit twice in a month, right? Because that's obviously not what you're aspiring to. But so tell me, you said that you had your hoarder, your collector, and you're organized. So you are literally a monster consumer with an entire, like, almost, I think every girl growing up thinks, or this is what they want, which is a dream come true, to have a walk-in wardrobe. When did that all change? Like, how did you suddenly wake up one morning and be like, what am I doing? Like,
so I've always had this stressed feeling, because every time I go into my wardrobe filled with stuff, I have nothing to wear, right? So then I ended up buying more and adding on, and I need to manage them. And then I started selling them at flea market, and then I ended up buying more, added back in, more stress. So this is like a vicious cycle that I realized I have, but I didn't do anything about it. So what really happened is when my fashion retail boutique closed, I caught myself sitting down in my walk-in wardrobe and wondered, oh, my life has been like just an accumulation of stuff. Is this what life all about? You know, so I had that moment of like truth, like, am I here to contribute to consumption or contribute to mankind? You know, why am I doing with all this stuff? They can't even feed me now. I feel so broke and I feel like a loser, but I have all these amazing clothes. It doesn't match how I feel that time. So what I did, I just decided to sell everything to sustain myself during my downtime. And it's been very liberating.
I love that. I think it's on your Instagram. I saw a quote, love people, not stuff. Use stuff, not people. Did you come up with that quote?
No, these are quotes that I collect because they inspire me. So I share them in my talks or in my sharing.
That's by far like one of, you know, it's 100% true. And I think it will resonate with so many people. And speaking of owning so much stuff, possessing so much stuff, you know, it's a reminder that it's not the stuff that's going to love us back. It's people, right? It's human connections, right?
Exactly. And the more you own, the more the things own you. So you are trapped. So
tell me a bit more about your experience with your possessions. Like, did they at some point, did you feel that they had like, they defined who you are to a certain degree, and that's why you had such an issue like not purchasing, not consuming? Did you feel like those things gave you more and worth?
I used to collect. I used to love shopping, right? So I love collecting. I love, like, I see things as my pride and glory. Like, they define me exactly because these are the stuff that I like and it says about me, and I collect them. So I'm very proud of my walk-in wardrobe because it's so well organized, like a mini retail. So but then when the business folded, I felt like I thought I'm being called to do fashion. I thought this was who I am, my identity. It's just become flattened. Like, actually, I'm just like a normal human being, right? And I don't need all these clothes really. So I just get rid of them. They become like like a survivor. I need to sell so that I can sustain.
So when did you embark on this actual, like, when was the first time you stumbled across the term zero waste lifestyle?
Okay. So in Malaysia, so I'm really thankful for Malaysia for my change. I needed a change here in Singapore. I knew I couldn't grow anymore. So I think about what is it like living abroad, next door. Across the sea, which is Malaysia. So then a job opportunity came, which is really, really amazing. And it's to curate a new fashion concept brand, feature all Asia designers, which was what I used to do. So I'm like super targeted, that's me. So when that job happened, I had to downsize my life seriously in a high speed. Like, I have like less than a year to downsize my life and I have so much stuff, right? So immediately I sell on Carousel, I sell at flea market, I give to my friends, my family, and I donate the rest to Salvation Army. So then from one walk-in wardrobe, I downsized to one rack full, which is amazing. Like one meter rack long.
Wow. And wait, so that encompasses everything from like your jeans to like your trousers, your bottoms, your tops, your undergarments, like the scarves, everything on just one rack, 1 meter long.
One rack. Yeah, 1 meter long rack and 2 containers of sentimental stuff.
Okay, I'm glad you used for some sentimental items. You're already having me feel really guilty with all this stuff.
But I did manage to clear most of them eventually. I do keep some. I still have my very first Levi's jeans, which I still can wear, thank God. It's cut into shorts right now. So immediately when I downsized to one rack, I felt really light. I felt freeing. I felt light. It's really liberating. In fact, my walk-in wardrobe, you can now see the sun coming in. It's so bright, and I can rent it out while I'm away. So that is
rent it out, as in you rent out your
that walk-in wardrobe. And now it's empty. Now I'm looking for a tenant. So if anyone is interested. So then, fast forward. When I moved to Malaysia, the Malaysia currency exchange rate 1:3 got me sucked back into the whole shopping habit. Yes, I mean, all habits is hard to. Yeah, and every time I walk into the shop, especially when I need to do research about the price point, about the styles that Malaysians like, they're always on 70% discount. I don't know why. So I have to buy something, right? New life, new wardrobe. So then eventually I started buying again. I would go to flea market, I support local, I buy charity sales, clearance sales, whatever. I will buy them all, online, offline. And then I realized my wardrobe started expanding again or exploding again. This is when I realized, okay, shit, I have to stop because I see a pattern coming back, even when I moved to Malaysia. Then in 2017, I chanced upon a group called Zero Waste Malaysia in Facebook. And then I started reading a lot on their posts and comments. Then I started learning so much more about, like, there's so much more than just recycling. So as a consumer in Singapore, I go straight to recycling. I'm the eco person. I think I'm the most green and eco person. I recycle everything. But there are so much more R's before recycling. And then it really opens up my eyes. And at that time, I saw that they are looking for a venue to run their very first Zero Waste Fest. And then I contacted the founders and say, hey, I'm actually managing an event space. Would you like to check it out? It was at the Row. And then managed to help them secure a venue for their very first Zero Waste Fest. So at that event, I was really inspired and encouraged because I see it was a success, of course. And then I see the love and support, the really strong love and support in the community. So in 2018, I told myself, girl, you got to jump on this zero waste thing. And I also commit to zero shopping on new fashion items.
So did you
That
jump
was the decision.
straight into the deep end? So sorry. So you said you committed to no more shopping for fast fashion.
Yeah. Yes, no more shopping on new fashion items, especially fast fashion. Yeah, so it was like a commitment. It's like I decided then and there after I see what happened, and after I've been living recycling life all my life. So this is something that I need to step up.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about because we were definitely going to cover a lot about the 5 R's and beyond. But tell me, when you first after that fest, right after the Zero Waste Fest. Did you decide, right, I'm just going to go all or nothing immediately? Because there, I know a lot of people use the term, like if you're, on social media, you see the word zero waste living a lot, or you also see low waste living. And I know that I've also seen people hate on the term zero waste because they think that it's not practical, like it's not realistic. And it's just, it's advocating something that is unattainable, right? So what is your view? Is it an all or nothing type of scenario, or is low waste living being, taking it slow and changing your lifestyle and doing what you can an option? What is your opinion?
So when I first heard about the term zero waste, I'm also a little bit intimidated because I'm just thinking, how is it possible? How can anyone achieve zero waste at all? There's like everything around us is packed and wrapped in plastic packaging or some sort, How is it possible? It's really quite a tall order, to lead a zero waste lifestyle. But then I started reading and research more. So I go online, I read about this whole lifestyle. I chance upon people like Lauren Singer, which is a Trash is for Tosser, B. Johnson, who is the writer of Zero Waste Home, and also our very own Aurora Tin from Zero Waste Malaysia. Every time they talk about this whole zero waste lifestyle, they will hold on to this glass jar filled with trash that they accumulated for a year or so. Then I realized, okay, it's actually not, zero waste is not about creating absolutely zero waste. It's to make sure that nothing goes to waste. So the moment we need to throw something away, a waste is created.
Right.
Like Will I Am say, a waste is not waste until we waste it. He's like a rapper, right? So waste is not waste until we waste it. so that,
but it's so true.
Yeah, that is the aha moment for me. And then because now everything that we have around us is coming from the earth resources. We need to take something from the planet, make into something, and we buy and then we throw, which is the linear economy we are at most of the time now. Yeah, there's circular economy, there's recycling economy, there's linear economy, but we are mostly on the linear economy now. Sure, it's great for profit, but it's really, really horrible for the planet because a lot of trash is created. Also, the quality of the product is not as great as before. Resources are limited now. So we ended up buying and throwing away more. And can you imagine if the population increase, more trash is going to be created? Yeah, and I don't think our waste management system is that tip-top enough because we know that recycling is a myth, and you see a lot of developing countries started dumping their recyclable trash in places like Malaysia or in other country that we don't see and we don't know of. So Greenpeace Malaysia wrote a report that recycling is a myth. So we shouldn't just depend on recycling. We should really practice the rest of the R before recycling.
Okay. Okay. So just to recap, so why zero waste living is so important? Because essentially, why if you had to, use just one simple sentence to convince everyone out there why zero waste living is so important, what is that reason?
For the basic reason that the way we consume is polluting our air, our land, and our sea. It's the very same air that we breathe, sea that we drink water from, and the land that grows our food. But we're filling it with trash. So for that basic reason. Yeah, okay. Imagine now during lockdown and MCO, the planet is our home, right? So during this whole MCO period, lockdown, you're at your home. Imagine you're just throwing trash at one corner of your house, like whether it's your delivery food, your leftover food, the clothes that you stopped wearing, you just dump them at one corner. Yeah. What is it gonna look like? It's gonna look like awful, and it's gonna smell, and the pests start coming, and the liquids start flowing, dirty liquids start flowing. Would you still want to hang?
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't go away. When you throw something, you think that it will go away, but it doesn't go away. It goes somewhere. It either goes to the landfill, to the sea, in the environment as litters, or if they are not incinerated or burned in a controlled environment, like a waste plant, or worse, some people actually burn it in the open air, which is what most island people do. So then, it's awful. If you don't want this in your home, we shouldn't do this to our planet home too, because we only have one planet.
Exactly. That's such a great way of putting it. So, if you're wondering, and if you need to convince someone else out there why zero waste living is important, just remember that analogy, that it's your home. It literally is our home, right? But instead it's on the bigger scale, and with, instead of one family living in it, you've got 8 billion people living in this planet, and there is nowhere for that trash to go, right? Okay, so tell me a little bit more about recycling. Let's not just focus on recycling. Let's actually go through the 5 R's and beyond. I think every Malaysian knows the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, right? But in actual fact, there are so many far more important R's before you even get to recycle. So walk us through that process. And
okay. I will need the screen if you can show us the 5R. So I learned about this B. Johnson's 5R from Zero Waste Malaysia Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. I will need the screen.
Okay. Let's see if we have that coming up.
Yeah, that
if we don't
triangle.
Okay. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pull up that screen, but
okay, no worries.
If we can't, let's walk through the first R.
Okay, the first 5R. So the first one is my favorite. It's called refuse. Refuse what we don't need, including freebies. Yeah. And the second R is reduce.
Right.
Reduce what we do need. And then reduce our consumption, reduce our waste. And the third one is reuse. Reuse as much as we can and switch everything to reusable if possible. Then finally recycle, and eventually rot or compost the rest. So these are the 5 R's. Refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and then rot.
Recycle.
The diagram will be much easier. But yeah.
No, I think we've got a slight technical matter, so we're not going to be able to bring up the screen. But if it's possible, we'll talk through it. Sure. So there's another one, right? Or are we going to touch on that later?
I do. Actually, so these are the 5 R's that I learned from B. Johnson through Zero Waste Malaysia. So I added one more R before this whole 5R, which is rethink, because I believe everything starts from here. So we really need to change our mindset. So rethink is the first R that I put above the 5R. So there you have it. You learn about 6 R's. And I also have a little action to help you remember. This is what I do when I give talks to kids. We all have a little kid inside, so we can learn this together. So you can do it. You can follow after me. You can do it with me. So the first one is rethink.
Okay.
You can do it. Rethink. Refuse.
Refuse.
Reduce.
Reduce.
And then reuse.
Reuse.
and recycle. You make the recycles logo.
Oh yeah.
And then finally, you rot or compose the rest, returning the nutrients back to the soil. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
so
Rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle,
recycle,
and
and
rot or
I
compose
love
the rest. Yeah, very nice.
I love that. I'm going to be teaching all my nieces and nephews that. That's a really great way to remember. So I think rethinking is of course, like you said, it's the top of the chain, right? Like it's if you can change your mindset and rethink everything, then it makes the rest of the process almost even unnecessary, right? Because if you rethink, if you don't even make that first purchase, then there's no need to even if you rethink and you refuse it, then you automatically reduce it, and you don't even need to worry about the recycle and rot part, right? So that's the reason why we think is so important, right? But is there anything else? How do we change people's mindset? There are a lot of people out there, and I think I mentioned this to you before as well. Like, there's a lot of people out there who either, one thing is you've got our parents' generation who grew up with nothing, and then they like even my dad is like, why would you not want to take free stuff? You know what I mean? There are people who hard to head around like, why would you do this? Why would you say no? Why would you refuse things? And then you also have people who are like the eternal pessimists. They're like, like they understand the issue, but then they're like, it's one straw. What's that gonna do, right? So what do you have to say to people like that to help them rethink that first perception?
Yeah, I think the why is very important. So if they don't know why they are doing this, they don't find a need to do it. So what I believe is usually to lead by example. So, and then you create a ripple effect from there. I need to walk my talk before others can be convinced that this lifestyle is actually possible. So so you just gotta walk your talk. I need to step up my game. So I mean, I do believe in ripple effect. It's amazing because, like for example, one time I was out with my friends. They know that I'm in this journey. So when I order my drinks, I would be like, I need this drink and then no straw. And then this other friend will just step in and say, you know what, this whole table, no straw. And I'm like, oh, you guys.
It really does.
Yeah. And I don't want to stress people out too. I'm not the police to catch people like, hey, like, don't do this, don't do that. I just do my own thing, and hopefully people can see my effort and see why I'm doing this. And I'm happy to share too. And then hopefully that inspire them to also take that journey, take that effort. Yeah. And also,
Sorry, go on. Yeah.
I also remember there's one time we went to Koh Lipe. So the same few friends, we started picking out trash as we go, as we explore the island. And then when we go back to our resort, we saw two young couple. They came back with trash in their hands too. So then they saw us picking up trash, and then they started picking up trash and they bring it back to the resort to dispose, which is amazing.
I think that is such a great example, right? And such a great story. I've experienced the exact same thing before in my hometown in Port Dickson. And every weekend I'll go back to my hometown, and they've got, dirty beaches, as everyone calls them. And it's because a lot of times on the weekends, people will sit out, they'll have their picnics, they'll literally have like their picnic in a pile of trash. They'll be like rotten chicken drumsticks or whatever. And just be sitting there eating. So, when I had time on the weekends, sometimes I would go back and I would just go bring a trash bag, some gloves, and I would start collecting trash. Sometimes I would convince my husband to join me, much to his utter but he would come and support me. And both of us would just go around picking up trash. And this one little girl came up to us, and she started picking up trash because she saw us doing it, but I think there's a way of doing it as well, I guess. If you're picking up trash around people, we just remind them, by the way, don't forget, guys, to throw it in the bin afterwards, but I think people see, and then they follow, right? Because I think a lot of times we're too afraid to look stupid collecting rubbish, right? And I think when you see other people doing it, it makes it a lot more, hey, why am I not doing this, right? And like you said, leading by example.
Yeah. Speaking about picking up trash, there's also one true story that happened to me in Thailand. So me and my friends, same thing. We make a habit of picking up trash along the shores every time we go to a beach location, because now our everyday trash are just everywhere, especially at the beach. They just got swept out into the beach. So one time we were in Koh Tao, Shark Bay, I think. Same thing, we started picking up trash, and I saw a little petrol bottle floating near to the shore. So we started picking it up, empty the liquid content inside, but we realized something is stuck in there. Like the water is not flowing as usual. So we peep in and we realize there's a fish inside. And the fish is trying to get out from the hole of the bottle.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my goodness, how long have you been stuck in there? It must be a baby when it went in, and then it couldn't come out because it has grown bigger. Yeah, so we panicked. We're like, oh my God, we need to save this fish. And then there's a hole at the bottom of the bottle. So my friend ripped it off. And the fish doesn't even dare to go out. It's like, this is your home, go. We need to toss it out, and then it swam away. So while my friend is saving the fish, I'm like recording it on Facebook. and I posted it, and my friend said, hey, you guys actually just saved a tiger fish. And I was like, whoa, tiger fish is pretty rare, no? And super happy about it.
Red and white ones with the
like a tiger stripes. They have like, tiger fish.
They've got like really pretty, right?
They're supposed to be poisonous too, but obviously we saved them. We saved it, so it didn't poison us.
Very nice. Like you saved my life.
Yes, and after that incident, it was like 3 months down my zero waste journey. It makes my why even stronger, because I realized these are our everyday trash, and it is harming the natural environment, it's harming the marine life, it's harming the wildlife. You know, we leave our trash around, and the animals started eating them, thinking that it's food, and then we end up eating the food. For example, fish, like there's already microplastic and microfibers in the food chain, and it's already found in the human stools. So we're literally eating our own trash if we keep throwing them. So my why grew so much stronger.
I mean, I think knowing where, understanding the whole cycle and opening your eyes and awakening to the bigger picture is what will hopefully convince people, you know, and understand like there is no other way. If we want to go on living the lives that we live right now, this is what we have to do, right?
Exercise consumers' power, I think.
Exactly.
Because everything is everything is packed and wrapped in plastic, right? I felt like as long as they are still in production, we buy and we throw, there will be trash everywhere. So we as a consumer, we just have to say no. We don't want any more plastic packaging or trash that is created by company. We can vote with our dollar.
To this next question, you know, refusing, right? So essentially, as consumers, we need to exercise our buyers' rights and use our voice to dictate what companies do, right? And not let it be the other way around.
Yes.
Decide how it's done, right? Ultimately, they should be serving the community demand, right? I want to ask you a question because I think a lot of companies do this, and I'm always in conflict with this myself when it comes to refusing. And it's this idea, this thought, I think that a lot of companies have as well, like in order to promote something or to create something, you know, and I'm sure, you know, in the industry, you've seen it a lot as well, where in order to traction in media, there's always media gifts, there's always like which are stunning to look at, but then at the end of the day, they just get thrown into the bin. I mean, what message do you have for companies if they want to rework the system and rethink how they deliver these media packages? Or even like, say, for example, Hari Raya, you know, and Christmas time, you know, these are the festive seasons where there's just so much stuff. It's always wrapped in, you know, and it's so beautiful. It's a part of the atmosphere. But what do you think we should do as human beings to rethink this? What can we do to reevaluate the way things are done and do it better?
So from the media company, there's better way of designing. Like, look at all the mooncake boxes. Now they don't just sell the box. They sell like a functioning like drawers or tissue box that you can turn it into after. Yeah, but of course, there's so many because I was in the media industry as well. So I know you receive a lot of media pack and media gift. So what happened is there are people out there who really want those stuff and they couldn't have it. And what I do, I give my friends. And I know at some point it will accumulate. And I know this platform called Belly Nothing Project, which is called Buy Nothing Project. It's awesome. I post them, take a picture, post it, and bless someone else instead. But usually my friends and family are the first filter system. Sometimes
how does it work?
It's in a Facebook group. So take a photo of the things that you don't need anymore, but they're still in good condition that you want to bless someone else. Because I'm sure your friends and family are also a little bit sick and tired of freebies. So then you can bless total stranger. Yeah. Yes, they are amazing stuff actually. Okay. It's just that we have too many of it and we don't appreciate it as much. And for us, we can also feedback. I think feedback is also very important. Yeah.
How can we give feedback? How can we get our voices heard?
As consumer or for the brand? I mean, for the brands, usually we kind of have a good relationship with them, right? So giving constructive feedback could be good too. Like, hey guys, maybe next time, maybe some suggestions. Yeah. And for the company, we can write to them. Like I follow Fashion Revolution. They encourage consumers to question our favorite brand, who made my clothes. Yeah, this is also one of the reasons why I stopped buying altogether, because I found out from the True Cost documentary, fashion are causing a lot of suffering to women and children. Sometimes the cheap things that we buy, or whether it's expensive or cheap, is produced by kids. It's produced by people who are underpaid and working long hours. There's no human rights and there are no workers' rights. So I felt like this is not the industry that I want to support, so I need to stop.
So how can we be responsible buyers and find out where our So you were saying Fashion Revolution is this app that you can, this is an Instagram that you can follow, or a website?
It is a website. Yeah, it's a website. It's a movement started, I think, 7 years ago when Rana building collapsed in Bangladesh, where a lot of fashion brand produced right there. So it collapsed because the worker also did feedback to their supervisor that, hey, we saw cracks and the working condition is never great in the first place. So when they feedback, they will ignore because they need to churn out the production. There's deadlines, you know, and the whole building collapsed, killing thousands of people and many other injured. And to me, I felt this is not the fashion I want to partake in. This is not the fashion that I know. Fashion was a creative outlet. It's supposed to be fun, supposed to be making you feel great. But just to make me look great, someone has to die for it.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Yeah.
So where do you find, I mean, if you were to recommend, if someone wants to rethink where they buy their clothes from, what do you recommend are the first steps that you can take to make sure that you're sourcing for fashion that is ethical, and also, to be reassured that it's actually ethically sourced?
In your wardrobe.
In your wardrobe.
They're all in your wardrobe already. You just have to use them.
That's absolutely 100%. But okay, to be realistic. Okay, actually, no. That brings me to this brings me to a very real question. To me personally, if it was up to me, if it wasn't for work, I mean, I tried to rent dresses, but otherwise I end up reusing them. But personally, I really would rather not spend time in a shopping mall and going shopping and buying clothes. But okay, a lot of people would argue, and I don't agree with it, that you have to fuel the economy. If the economy is under duress, then people have no jobs, and if people have no jobs, then we're all going to be living in poverty. So how do you use zero waste, which is a direct opponent, as some people may argue, with the economy? What is your take on it?
Just remember, when the planet die, we cannot count the money already. Look. And I know, especially nowadays, fashion industry, the workers in the fashion industry were hit quite badly. But I felt that at the same time, they are also free from slavery, modern day slavery. So Yes, it's true. There's some one student also asked me this question before. Hey, I'm actually giving people jobs if they work in my plastic bottle company. And I say, yeah, maybe why don't you, instead of producing single-use plastic bottle for people to buy and throw away, why don't you make reusable bottle instead? And you can still give people jobs. Yeah, right. So then he started, yeah, all right. Let's not produce trash, let's produce good product that people can use for a long time, and we don't find the need to buy them anymore. But that's not good for the economy, right? So we as a consumer, we need to know where to stop, when to stop. Like when I look at my wardrobe, I have to stop. I have so many clothes already. I have so many beautiful clothes that I can wear, and you can also wear them differently if you rethink. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for putting that question to rest. It's so true. It's about, as consumers, knowing that we don't need double-digit growth every year for the economy. It's not a sustainable thing, right? You're basically depleting our actual riches and resources when you do that, when you chase these numbers. And it's like a figment of our imagination, because only the super rich continue to grow rich, and the rest of the community still remain in poverty, right?
Yeah, or die trying.
Yeah, or die trying, exactly, with this like unrealistic. It's just unattainable, right? And yeah, I want to ask you about zero waste living, this whole concept of it, right? If someone is just hearing of it for the first time, what are the most basic steps that a person can take to slowly start implementing and introducing this into their everyday life? Like, what are some of the immediate swaps that I can do today, for example? Or not even swaps, but like, what are the things that you realize immediately that you can say and refuse say no to and reduce immediately that sort of waste? What are some of those things?
For me, the easiest is no straw. Super easy, because you don't need to suck. You can just drink straight from the glass. No plastic bag, and no plastic bottled beverages.
Okay, people will ask this question. What about, because you say no plastic bags, and I get this all the time from people like, oh, but then where do I throw my trash? Yeah.
So if you practice the 5 R's in sequence, you might not even have any food waste left, because you will be composting it or regrow it before that. That's the other R that I want to introduce. Yeah. So then nothing goes to waste. And even in India, I know when they have leftover food, they feed their strays and they feed animals.
Yeah. I mean, for example, though, let's look at the worst case scenario. If people still have trash, then are these biodegradable? I mean, I don't know. Biodegradable bags that you buy are actually biodegradable, and also, is that a solution?
Yeah, maybe it's better, slightly better than the non-biodegradable one that takes 10 to 1,000 years to break down. Biodegradable one made from plant, maybe it's easier to break down. But imagine if all your trash ended up in a landfill. Once trash stacking on top of one another, there's no air, there's no sun, there's no water. Even the most biodegradable stuff like a piece of paper, it's not going to break down. They're just going to accumulate and release methane gas, which is 25 times more potent than CO2, heating up our atmosphere and environment, trap heats, global warming, ice melting, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know all that jazz.
So that's the first R again then. So it's rethink and reduce altogether, so that you don't have to think about the plastic bag and, like ultimately just reducing your waste. That's the main solution, right?
Refusing is my favorite.
If you are to talking about swap, refusing, rethinking and refusing things together. But what are the immediate swaps? So you said, so saying no to plastic bags, saying no to straws. What was the third one you mentioned?
Plastic bottled beverages.
Plastic bottles.
Yeah. Water is my go-to now. Yeah, it's been used and abused, but I'm still using it. So.
Perfect. It's a great solution. We used to do it in primary school anyway, and then suddenly this trend for single-use plastic mineral waters came along. But before that, I don't know, growing up, there was no such thing as buying mineral water.
Yeah, I think they just sneak into our life without us realizing. So someone need to realize it and start that change, because I used to have a retail shop, right? And there's no water in my shop. So I need to make sure I have enough water for the day. And I will go across the street to the supermarket to get 1.5 liter of mineral water just to make sure I finish them for the day. Can you imagine I've done it for the next 5 years? And I don't realize that, hey, if I just switch to a reusable, I can refill free water in my own home, because Singapore, our home, our water is clean and we can drink it from the tap. I didn't even think about it, because naturally we just buy into solutions. We always just, I need water, I have to buy it. I need this, I have to buy it. I need to be zero waste, I need to buy zero waste product. No, actually being zero waste is to choose what you cannot buy, use what you already have. That is truly zero waste. It's not about buying the most zero waste friendly looking stuff. Like even cutleries, I have so many sets, right? So I just take one set, put it in a box and travel with it. I don't need to buy a sustainably sourced bamboo cutlery set to travel with so that I look zero waste. No, just grab, go.
Use whatever you have. I mean, I think that's a really interesting point, because there are a lot of brands out there now that call themselves zero waste and are trying to capitalize on the zero waste lifestyle. I'm not saying that it's not good, because to me, okay, if you're going to create a brand, as long as it's okay, if it's bamboo versus plastic, it's the lesser of the evils in a sense. And also, if it's going to encourage people to have a set that they're going to carry around with them everywhere, then hey, if that solves the problem, that's fantastic. But I guess that's a very good point. If you have things at home, right, just use them. You don't have to buy into the solutions, right? Which
yes,
let's talk about
everyday.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, like you were asking, where can I buy sustainable fashion and things like that? Sure, there are websites that collate brands that are ethical, sustainable. If you must buy from them. They are a little bit pricier, but you know where the money goes to, because they pay the workers fair and they are sourced from a better material, things like that. But the most sustainable one is in your wardrobe, because you already have them, just use them. And also there's a saying, the most environmental friendly product is actually the one you didn't buy. So
yes.
you have it already.
You need to have a book of sustainable or zero waste living quotes, because I think they're so impactful. You say it and you're like, yeah, exactly. I want to ask you about everyday things that we do from your morning routine all the way till the end of the day, and all the things that people end up consuming throughout. What are the other things, from brushing your teeth in the morning to the soap and the shampoo that you use? Let's walk through and talk through some of those things and how we can convert and start being more zero waste.
Yeah, I'm very tough on myself. The first thing I did is to remove the bin in my toilet, because I used to use tissue paper, cotton pad. I used to use all this disposable stuff, use one time, toilet paper even, and I would toss it into the bin. So I removed the bin and I asked myself, okay, what can I do with toner? What should I do? I use my hand. I put the toner on my face and I just slap it with my hand. And what else? Tissue paper. I don't need tissue paper. If I need to blow my nose, I blow straight into the bin. I know it's very auntie, but I don't care. I'm just going to wash it with water and facial wash. And then toilet paper. I love Malaysia because you don't need toilet paper. You have the bidet. It's very refreshing. It's the best switch, one of the best switch that I did. Thanks to Malaysia. Malaysia really changed me. And and tissue, all the stuff that I used to buy just to throw away, I don't need to do that anymore. And I make it even harder for myself by removing the bin, because then where can I throw them? So I created that habit.
Floss, and what about shavers?
For me, I don't use floss. Okay, so I use coconut oil to do oil pulling once in a while. It's a very old Indian tradition, which helps. And then toothbrush, I have the plastic one. I also have the bamboo one. Reason being, it doesn't matter. For me, I don't throw away my toothbrush at all. I use them to wash, to clean my hiking boots, to clean glass jar that is hard to reach at the bottom. I use it as a paintbrush. I use it to clean my laptop keyboard. So the toothbrush are actually very useful. The wooden ones, you can actually write, say, the plant that you wanted to plant, like tomato, and then you can chuck it into the pot. So that's really good. And
great idea.
I have many ideas because I'm coming from the creative background. So I really started challenging myself. What else can I do? You know, so it's very fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think many people may or may know. Actually, no. I think that if you follow the community, you might know. But let's talk about general things as well, like shampoos and soaps. What are the alternatives?
Yeah, so I must confess, I still have a lot of beauty products like shampoo and also face product. So I'm still trying to finish them. As soon as I finish them, then I will think about the solution. For shampoo, I thought about it. I might make my own using either hibiscus leaves, or I recently read vinegar and orange. When you soak them, it's actually very good as a natural hair conditioner. Or I might go extreme. I might go no poo free, which is no shampoo. This is what the zero waste. Yeah, this is what the Zero Waste Malaysia founders are doing. So I'm super inspired. Poo free means shampoo free. You don't really need shampoo. So I'm like, whoa. But I'm just going to explore and try and see which method works for me, because this is Zero Waste is actually a journey, a self-discovery journey. Instead of going one way, what is the other ways and how your body reacts to it. So you have to just understand yourself, and whichever rock your boat, just go for it.
And I think there are some other alternatives. I mean, I know there's BYOB, so it's bring your own bottles, where you can actually go and get refills. So in Malaysia now, there are a lot of companies that are doing great work like this. Refills, a refill house, right? That's another one.
There's Hive Bulk Food, there's Nude Zero Waste, that's a bit less. There's Frangipani, there is so many. BROB Damansara, there is... No, you know what you can do? Go to zerowastemalaysia.org, because they have an awesome zero waste map, which you can just search for all the bulk store, even for repair. Where can you go for repair? Repairing your umbrellas, repairing your shoes. Yeah, just use the zero waste map. They're awesome. That's why I really love volunteering, because you learn so much from communities and you're not alone in this journey, you know? Absolutely. Hey, I realized we only have like 4 minutes and I haven't shared the other R's.
Those R's. Let's go.
So we know the
I don't think we're gonna get cut off. We can.
Oh, let's party. No. So we know 6 R's, right? From rethink, refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot or compost the rest. But I wanted to add a few more R's. There is before recycling, consider, repair, repurpose, and regift. So for example, shoes, umbrellas, you can actually choose to repair first before you recycle them. Yeah. Repair, repurpose. For example, jeans, if you stop wearing the jeans, maybe you want to repurpose them into an apron or turn them into something like your old t-shirts. You can turn them into rugs. So repurpose them. Even plastic bottles, some people cut it in such a way that they can become a pot or a self-watering plant system, which is super creative. Yeah. And I got all these ideas from Zero Waste Malaysia Facebook group. A lot of comments, a lot of posts about ideas, which is awesome. I encourage you to join. And then finally, regift.
What do you do with the old, like, for example, when you have moisturizers in tubs, what do you do with those tubs?
So I clean them, I wash them. Before that, we recycle, right? But now I try to keep them, because I also wanted to make my own beauty product in future. So what happened is I ended up keeping a lot. And I started posting at Buy Nothing Project groups. In Malaysia, it's called Belly Nothing Project. And they have different areas like Cheras, Cranberry, Belly, and stuff like that. So I take picture and I post them. I say, hey, I have too many containers. They are clean and washed. Anybody wants it? And people just contact you and you meet up and you pass on to other people who will use it before you recycle them. Because I don't know if they get recycled properly. Yeah. That is a gray area.
Yeah. And you were saying one more is regifting. Oh no, repurpose. So we've done repurpose.
So before recycling, we consider
repair.
I forgot. Repair, repurpose, and regift. And before rot, which is the last R, consider regrow, which is what I'm trying to do now. I'm trying to regrow my veggies and regrow my food. Started a compost bin back in Singapore. So I'm very excited about the outcome. Wish me luck.
Good luck. I have one more question that I'm very curious about, but before we get into that, is there anything else that you really want to share? This is your story and your message that you want to share with people that we haven't covered yet before I ask you the last question.
I just want to remind us that we are all connected. Yeah. So whatever we do to the planet, we are actually doing it to ourselves. Yeah. So if animal die, planet die, we will die too. So we are all connected. And so I want to challenge all of us to start thinking, especially now we have so much time to think, how can we live and enjoy our life on this earth without harming the environment and endangering the animals living in it and ourselves, ultimately go back to ourselves. So just, just have to ask ourselves that question.
Well, we still have a little bit of time, so we're going to try and take some questions from our guests. So guys, if you have any questions, you can please feel free to type them in, and we will ask Jasmine. But while we're waiting for that, I'm very curious because I think rot is an R which very few people know and talk about really. And to be very honest, I've tried doing composting at home before, and it failed miserably. I ended up with like black soldier flies. I think they are all over my house, but never mind. We'll get into that. We do have a question. So hold that thought. I will come back to the rot, but first we're going to take this question that came in from Vince Forrest. Vince Chan, thank you for your question. And it's, what are your thoughts on liquid soaps versus bar soaps? Especially in finding packaging.
Yep. So I have both. I used to buy soap bars a lot when I travel, especially. So I ended up with so many soap bars that I don't use. One thing with soap bars, they tend to dry out my skin, but there are good soap bars out there that has olive oil, like ALYFE soap, which sells in most bulk fish store. Personally, I like liquid gel soap. So I refill them instead of buying new bottle to send to the landfill. So that's really up to you, because there's no right solution for anybody. It's really up to you how your body feel. For me, soap tends to dry my skin, and I need to use coconut oil a lot. So then I use the gel version, which is kinder to my skin, and I refill it.
Awesome. I hope that answers your question, Vince. Also, let us know what you're currently using. Are you using bar soaps? Okay, so we've got another question. Speaking of foods, what about leftovers, especially from F&B eateries? Okay, that's a good question.
Like a business type. Yeah. So there are companies like Lost Food Project, food banks that that instead of you having to throw away, you can collaborate with an organization like that to distribute the food, leftover food instead. Yeah. So there is always ways. If you have any question like this, you can also post on Zero Waste Malaysia Facebook group, because I'm sure there's a lot more resources there. Yeah. A lot more mind, a lot more rethinkers there.
Absolutely. Great. And thank you for sharing that. So it's Zero Waste Malaysia on their, do they have a website?
Facebook. Facebook group. They also have a website. So the group is where the communities share resources and share ideas. So if you have even a waste problem, like the F&B question that we have just now, just post it and see what happens. Usually you get like at least 40 comments. Usually.
Putting all the minds together to come up with a solution. Okay, well, we're waiting for, maybe we'll take one more question. While we're waiting for that, I just really want to cover rot. So what are your tips for, if you live on, most of us live in little apartments, so if you still want to practice doing composting or rot at home, what are the basic necessities we need, and how do we go about it?
So there's many composting methods, but before that, when I live in Malaysia, I don't do composting. I just freeze my food waste, and then I will bring them to a community garden compost bin, and I dump it there. So that's one way you can do it. I learned this from Free Tree Society, founded by the, So then, so that helps, but my freezer sometimes is filled with a lot of food, fruit peels and veggie scraps, but just freeze them and then drop them off once in a while to Kebun Bangsa or Free Tree Society. They have many compost bins for you to dump. If not, you can also research. There's many types of composting at home. There's the black shoulder flies, there's bokashi, there's worms. So whichever rock your boat. For me, I'm lazy, so I just want to use the soil. I just want to dump my food waste, and then I'll just add more dry leaves and then dump more food waste. So we'll see what happens. The lazy method.
What kind of a container do you use at home?
I have quite a few like bins. I used to have a bin in every room. I have 3 bedrooms here. So now I don't use bins, right? So I'm just going to take one of them and just turn them into a compost bin.
So my understanding of composting is that you, there needs to be aerated, and do you need to have a hole? Do you have to have holes in it? Aerated, or can it just be like a sealed up tight container and just how do you do yours?
Dump it. Just make sure the wet and the dry, the carbon and the nitrogen is even. I show you. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I do it correctly. This is my house, so
I mean,
I will show you my compost bin. Ta-da! It's looking quite, yeah, I mean, so my ex-housemate left over some dead plants, and I just throw the soil in here. So I hope it works. Ants are already attacking it.
Okay. How long have you worked on your compost? Or
compost? This is just a week, less than a week. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Have you tried it before and you've actually seen it break down and the end product?
Yes, at Free Tree Society, when I used to volunteer there on Tuesday, so they have 6 compost bin, and they have a system where you can just draw out and get the fertilizers from the bottom. So you just dump your waste on top, and then at the bottom, it will become a fertilizer in 2 months' time or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have 6, so you can actually, like I said, you don't need to start your own in your house if you don't want to. Just freeze them and drop it, contribute to their compost.
To know is that they can't be poultry or fish or anything like that. When you do, if you do want to do composting, it has to be like fresh, like for example, peeled oranges and stuff like that, right?
Veggie peels, fruit peels, even your hair is okay, and dry leaves, organic stuff. You can actually search online. There's a lot of tips on that. I recently also signed up this Think City Earth Day talk by Ground Control and what's the other group? So they grow their own greens and they teach you how to compost. So I also learned quite a bit from Ground Control. Yeah, just go for it. Try it, learn, make mistake, laugh about it, do again, you know. I don't know what's going to turn out with my compost, but we'll see.
Well, all the best with your compost project. I'm so excited for you. And, you know, I'm really, really happy to have met you and had you been able to catch up with you on this show. So I think that's all the time we have. It is 12:13. And so far, I don't see any new questions coming in. But you know what, guys? If you have any further questions, you can follow Jasmine on Instagram. It is JSMN Tuan, right?
JSMNTUAN. And recently, I started something called Smile Like Green Spirit. It's like Nirvana smells like green teen spirit, but it's smile like green spirit. So I wanted to share more tips, because I found so many R's in my journey, and I wanted to just, started posting them and inspire people with 1 R at a time to zero waste.
So how do we be a part of that project, or how can we find out more about it? Is that on your Instagram?
Yeah, I just set them up, so it's still zero content for now, but search for it. Smile like green spirit. Smile
like green spirit. I love it.
Yeah, Nirvana.
As well. Is it also the same, Jasmine Tuan on Facebook?
Yes, that's me. There's only one Tuan. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jasmine. I hope you guys enjoyed this session on ALYFE Connect. And again, all the resources, if you have an infinite number of questions, like many people would do in your first attempt on embarking on this journey, make sure you check out Zero Waste Malaysia for more information on Facebook. Join the group, and there will be many people there to help you out embark on your journey. Thank you so much, Jasmine. I will see you soon, and that's it from us.
Thanks, Jasmine.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you so much for sharing all
Thank
your
you.
tips. Such a good reminder, actually, and really, really useful tips that we can, slowly adopt into our lifestyle. And thanks, Nadia, so much for hosting and for asking all the good questions. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good day.
See you.
Okay, there you go, guys. We hope that this session has really given you, a little bit of insight on how to go, how to be zero waste. And I think Jasmine has shared really very useful basic tips that we can start with, which is like, no straws, no plastic bags, and no plastic bottles. Yeah, so these are little things that we can slowly adopt into our lifestyle, and we know it's possible and it's doable because, you know, Jasmine used to be a hoarder and a collector. So there's room for all of us to improve and to be better and to live better as well. So yeah, next up at 3 p.m. we're gonna have Nadia Heng again. This time around, she's gonna take the stage and talk to us about public speaking. She'll be sharing tips on how to give a speech and also the importance really of public speaking. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll see you at 3 p.m.